Hello, welcome to the weather update. It's about 9:30 on March 15th, 2023, and watching this big storm depart the northeast after causing a lot of problems generally inland in these areas here, dealing with loads of snow, like 2 to 3 feet of snow, and then along the coast you get deal with some strong winds. And you can see this is the storm right here. Looks pretty wound up there, I'll tell you. Look at that thing. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. Looking at our satellite, you can see we had clouds, and then as we made our way toward the afternoon, the clouds got less and less and less. Though you could still see some clouds lingering over the forks, but you can see how the clouds kind of just dissipated. In fact, it seemed like it was just some cirrus around, generally very scattered cirrus. A band over New Jersey and then a band east, and this mid part of Long Island actually turned out to be mostly sunny. So let's look at another satellite image here of this. Let's go to the U.S. Atlantic Coast satellite image, so we can take a look at this one as well, and look at our storm system. Let's move this to turn 20, right? All right, so there's your storm system there. You can see it rotating. Put this in motion in a moment. You can see it rotating there. It looks like it's south. Almost looks like it's got an eye to it. If you look closely, almost like a little bit of an eye to it. Very unusual to see storms that get eyes like that. Really, you're not supposed to see that with an extratropical type of system. There's an eye right there. Look at that. Can we possibly get a little closer on that? There's the northern Atlantic view, but I don't think there is anything that's any closer than that. I wish they had like a Canadian Maritimes one. Canada, northern U.S., northern Atlantic. I don't think that's going to show it too well. Wish we could get a little closer. Maybe there's storms. No, not really. Let's actually, I want to put this in the flash intensity. I can't get any closer with this. Maybe there's a thing I could use. I just want to see if there was any lightning near the center of that thing. We could just see how intense and deep it is. You could tell just by looking at the satellite and why there's so much wind around it. Yeah, looks like there's an eye right there. Again, looks like there's an eye right over there. Pretty impressive, to say the least. I wish we could get, like I said, I wish we could get a little closer, but I don't think they have one. We have U.S. Atlantic Coast. I mean, you'd have to use the northeast one, basically, which doesn't really show the center of the storm. Northern Atlantic, which I don't think is going to show it either. You can sort of see it over here, but another big one over there too, by the way. But you get the idea. And we were dealing with some pretty strong winds today as well. We're going to talk about that and go over the storm totals again from yesterday from the Weather Service. The winds have backed off a little bit tonight, but they were pretty strong during the day, I got to say. See, Islip is 39. Winds have backed off a little bit, but you can see if we go look at the way it was during the day, you'll see that we had some pretty strong wind gusts up there. Gusts, in fact, there were some gusts over 40 miles an hour. And I don't know why they dropped the wind advisory, because the winds were really intense during the afternoon. They actually got worse in the afternoon, and they were really intense. And like I said, I'm kind of surprised they dropped the wind advisory. I don't think they should have dropped the wind advisory at all, to tell you the truth. But they did. Let's go a little closer to the storm and see what they were dealing with, like on the Cape, like Provincetown, for instance, where I'm sure the wind was worse for them. Let's see what kind of wind gusts they got. Nothing really that crazy. If we go back a little more, we'll see some stronger wind gusts, but nothing really. There's a few gusts to 43, a couple of gusts over 40. This was early this morning. You can see they were dealing with some light rain there, and they had some wind gusts there. And again, look at how low the air pressure got. Let's see how low the air pressure got there. It got down to 29.09 inches, 29.08 inches or 984 millibars, 94.80 millibars. That is very low. Again, that just shows you how deep this storm was. That wasn't even the center didn't even go over them. So it was deeper than this. So that just shows you how powerful this storm was. What a powerhouse storm it was. But let's go, and we still have gale warnings in effect for the offshore waters, but they should have kept the wind advisory until probably 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, and they should not have dropped it. I don't know why they did. I don't know what the motivation is behind that, but let's look at today's highs, and you'll see mid-40s for Long Island, and of course a little warmer in New Jersey, upper 40s closer to 50 there, especially in the southern part of the state. Going north, it's cold. In the east, it's colder. So we were close to normal for the day. I think close to average, maybe a little bit below normal. See what the low was. Probably fairly close to normal, I think. We'll look at the statistics. So let's go to the weather service here, and we'll go over. It looks like we've got rainfall, snowfall reports, and wind reports as well from this coastal storm. So let's go to the rainfall reports, and we'll start off with those first. And you'll see here, these are from this morning. So this is the updated rainfall amounts that we have here. Look at that. Some areas in Connecticut, over 4 inches of rain in parts of Middlesex County and Higginham. Wallingford in New Haven County, look at that, 3.75. So they got a lot of rain. We're going to have to check the rivers and lakes. New London County, Connecticut, again, 3 inches. That the eastern Connecticut really got pounded. There were other areas, nothing that remarkable. In the boroughs, North Jersey, nothing that remarkable. Nassau, we had North America at 1.63, so around 1.5 inches of rain. Some areas got a little less than that, particularly southwest Nassau. And then as we go into Suffolk, this is where we see the higher amounts, 2.83 inches at Upton, Ridge 2.51. So right over the Pine Barrens, Center reached 2.32. So they got a good soaking there, and hopefully that's going to fill up some of those lakes out there. West Hampton, 2 inches. And you can see Westchester also saw some higher amounts of rain. Katona, 2.43. Some of that, of course, fell as snow. So we'll go and look at the snow reports next. Let's go to the snowfall reports. Here are the snowfall reports, and again, you can see parts of Fairfield County got 8.5 inches. New Haven County, inland got 7 inches. So if you go inland, higher elevations, you're going to get you got a decent accumulation. And look at some areas in Orange County, 15.5 inches, 1 mile west-northwest of Monroe. In Putnam County, 4 miles north-northeast of Fanhey State Park, probably on top of a mountain, 17 inches. So this is where you find the higher amounts. But as far as the city goes, nothing, barely anything for Manhattan. Central Park only got a trace. And Nassau County really didn't see. I don't think we've seen a report. There's one report from Nassau County, 0.2 at Farmingdale. It's Suffolk that wound up picking up some more of the snow. And those bands set up over central Suffolk. Santa Mauritius got 2.2 inches. Nesconta, 2.1 inches. Lake Grove, 2 inches. Stony Brook, 2 inches. Bayport, 1.5 inches. Comac, 1.3 inches. Islip, 1.2 inches. Upton, 1.1 inches. Ridge, 1 inch. So you can see they got some higher amounts in Suffolk. And Westchester, too, as well. 7 inches in North Castle. Peekskill, 7 inches. I mean, wasn't a big snowfall. I knew it wouldn't be, but it just so happened. It's hard to predict where, if you get a band and it comes down heavy enough, even in the middle of the day, it can accumulate to maybe an inch. But this was only on the grassy surfaces, not on the paved surfaces. But I was out I did go for a little walk in the pines today, and yes, there was a little snow left on the ground before it melted in the later part of the afternoon, and you could see some of the lingering cirrus clouds that we did have. That we had in the morning is sort of like what the sky looked like, and then as we got toward the afternoon, it was nice and clear, and look at that. I have a video for you as well, so it was good to get back to the Pine Barrens and do a hike. Let's go to the wind reports here. Wind reports. So these are the wind reports here that we have, and you'll see here Bayville in Nassau County got a wind gust of 50 miles an hour. As usual, the higher amounts are in Suffolk, Baying Hollow, 58 miles an hour, and Eaton's Neck, 57 miles an hour, Metcalfe's Bay, 45 miles an hour. So these are some of the winds here. And then there's some maritime observations, too, by Robin Moses State Park, 56 mile an hour wind gust, and a 54 mile an hour wind gust reported at Atlantic Beach. And Robbins Reef, New Jersey, had a wind gust of 50 miles an hour. So, yeah, some pretty strong winds out there, though not as bad as it could have been, only for the sake that the storm didn't go any further west than it already had. Now, I want to actually bring out a map of the snowfall reports because there is maps of them, too, as well. So we're going to go to that. Let's go to this map here. So put this map on the screen here, and you'll see here all the heavier, here are the snowfall amounts here reported. And this is actually, this is not what I want to use. Let's just go to Albany. They'll actually have the full list there. You should have a map there. Let's get that information up here. So let's see. Let's see if we can find it. So this is another map that they put together. It's actually a more graphic map here they put together. So this was the storm total snowfall here in the northeast, and you can see it's mostly in the interior here that you see these higher amounts. And again, look at this, 42 inches. So some of these ski resorts in the mountains are going to have, after not struggling all winter getting snow, now they're going to have snow. So if you want to go skiing up in Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, the snow's there, and there's going to be plenty of it now for a while. So get out there and enjoy it. It should stick around for a while, but you can see, looking at all these, look at that, 42 inches. Is that that is over 3 feet of snow. That is unbelievable. You can see some of these really high snowfall amounts. It's mainly in the mountains, but again, very, very impressive to see. Looks like Albany itself got 10.5 inches. Albany is right over here. So they got 10 inches. So if not seeing much snow in the interior northeast, they finally got a big snowfall, and it was a heavy, wet snow that they got for sure. And you figure the liquid equivalent of this, some of this is like 3 to 4 inches of liquid, because again, the ratios were probably a little less than 10 to 1. So just incredible. Look at the snowfall, and really, really incredible to see. And I'll put links to all these reports as well. Massachusetts. Let's see if we can get another map here. Or these are the snowfall reports out of the Boston office, the actual text offices here that you have. And again, the coast didn't see that much, but again, look at these places inland. I mean, 37 inches, 36 inches. I mean, this is crazy. These are in Massachusetts, right? Yeah. So while Barnstable didn't see anything along the coast, you go inland, higher elevations where it was colder. And you can see how this just all adds up here quite impressively, as you see. Really quite something to see for sure. So let's, now that we're done with that, let's go to the power outage situation and see. It looks like they've restored power to a lot of people. However, California now has a lot of power outages because they're going through another storm. So there are some outages, but they have restored. There's only 14,000 in Vermont and 25,000 in New Hampshire, New York 5,305, Massachusetts 5,563. So they are working on it. Again, it's quite a lot of work to fix, all the lines that have come down because it's a heavy, wet snow. It's very damaging. Like I said, if it was a dry, powdery snow and you had that much, you wouldn't be going through all these power outages. That's what makes these storms so damaging. You're better off having Arctic air, and everybody would get snow, but at least it wouldn't cause all that damage. California has some outages, it looks like, as well. We'll have to talk about California, too. It's just a lot going on with the weather, as usual. So let's take a look at the weather map now. You see we have fair weather over us for now. Here's a whole bunch of storms that are setting up for looks like the upper Midwest down into the Southwest. And if we go to our Storm Prediction Center, you'll see, look at that. They even have a marginal risk for severe weather in the Southwest, as you see there. And if we go to the day 2, things are going to get a little more active as that storm moves east. And you're going to see an enhanced risk, again, in the south, Texas to Louisiana. So you'll have to, and part of Oklahoma as well. So we're going to have to look at these at that risk. This is for tomorrow that we're going to see that. So yeah, again, more active weather in our future here because we've got another western storm that is coming across the country. Where did I put my weather and hazards map? Oh, I must have closed it by accident. Okay. Now I got to put it back. All right, here we go. So, again, there's a lot of cold air. Even though this isn't really cold air that we're in, it's being driven very far south, deep into the southeast. And that's why, because their growing season has started, so that's why we have freeze warnings in effect for many parts of the southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, parts of Alabama. And then we have these winter storm watches. This is as this next energy moves out of the west. We finally don't see anything going on in the west right now. Finally, it looks like it's a little quieter. You don't see any high wind warnings. You're getting a little bit of a break, as you'll see, a little bit of a break. But again, you have the southwest that'll have some activity, and again, the cold in the south. It's going to get pretty chilly. Actually, it's going to get below freezing tonight. And that's going to could be damaging to the crops and whatnot. But you can see there's no real cold air around. It's just being pulled so far to the south by that big storm that we are looking at. So let's go now to the models, and we will start with the upper air and jet stream flow. So let's do that. And let's go to the jet stream. The first thing we'll look at. We're looking at the GFS. You can see the fire hose there for the Pacific, and that does continue. You see it continuing. And as far as our weather goes, you'll see a trough coming through. Brings a cold front through, and you see this like broad kind of trough type of situation. Then we have another low. This is going to have to be watched for next week. That would be our potential next coastal storm, perhaps, to look at. And you can see there's still a persistent trough in the west with that fire hose. And then you can see it just continues in the west. It looks like, yeah, toward the end of the period, of course, it eases it. And we know that's always toward the end of the period. But it looks like at least we have some larger high-pressure systems moving in to give us at least more than one day of fair weather in a row. So this is what the GFS looks like on the jet stream. Let me move it over to the European model here, and we'll pick the 12Z European model. And you'll see, again, here's the 12Z European model, and you can see that ridge that we're going to get. Again, that's going to lead to a warm-up ahead of the next cold front, and then got this like broad trough in the country here that you have across the country that we're going to have to watch. And again, the development of possible storminess over here. But you still see that fire hose continuing out west. It does seem like it eases a little bit toward the end of the run. But of course, that is always the case. Always easing toward the end of the run. So now let's go to the 500 upper air. And again, here's your storm moving away, getting some ridging in. That'll bring us milder air. Then here comes the next trough, again into the lakes. So no snow with this one. And then we have front coming through, and then you see another ridge building, and then you see this wave. Now, right now, the GFS just keeps this thing and moves it along offshore. No coastal storm. It stays kind of offshore, and you still see that troughing in the west that we have. But we start to get a little troughing in the east, too, that you notice it's showing even toward the end of the month there. And it looks like, of course, end of the month. Oh, boy, that looks great. Big ridge in the west, trough in the east. But we know we have to see if that's even going to pan out at this point. Let me go to the European model. Go to the 12Z run here. And let's see how the European looks. It looks a little different. A little bit different here. It's a little more troughing in the east. You can see that. So this maybe the European would make things a little more interesting. So let's go to the surface now, and we'll go and, being that we're on the European, let's look at the European first. And we'll look at the surface. So Fair weather tomorrow, and then this front comes through overnight, Friday night, Saturday morning, moves offshore. Drier air builds in. Cooler, drier air will be below normal. See this nice, big, broad high pressure that we're finally going to get, giving us a good stretch of days where we don't have to deal with any rain, at least. And then the next rain threat, according to the European, you see, because even the European suppresses that storm, would be, again, toward the end of the period, a week from Friday, with the next period there. And you can see it sort of eases. You don't see storms crashing into the west constantly. You start to see a little bit of an easing it a little bit. A few storms here. It starts in again next week, but there's a little bit of a break in the fire hose. Let's now go to the GFS model. And we'll go to the GFS. All right, so again, here comes that storm. Cold front comes through. High pressure builds in. We have nice, dry, cool weather starting Saturday, lasting through a good part of next week. And then we have to watch this storm again. This becomes a pretty powerful storm. But again, it kind of just keeps moving. It doesn't go up the coast. It kind of just, keeps moving. There's nothing there to pull it up. But we'll have to watch that because that is a powerful storm. That is another real powerhouse low there. Again, just getting the strength from all those, warm waters, I guess. So now that we looked at that, let's go look at our temperature anomaly chart. So you can see that the temperatures will be near normal tomorrow, going above normal for Friday, and then we have this cold front come through, knocking things down to maybe slightly above normal Saturday, then below normal temps for a good part of the country. Sunday, Monday, we can see it's mainly the south that's getting it again. This is an Arctic air that we're getting, but then we go above normal again. And then another batch of cold air tries to come down as we get toward Monday. And toward the end of the month, you can see it's trying to bring some more cold air down. But we'll have to see if that actually pans out, of course. So let's take a closer look now at our area. Now, it's a little later, so let's see what we've got of the HRRR. We have 36 frames of the HRRR, so we'll look at this for a little bit. And you can see the isobars start to relax as we get into tomorrow. Winds become a little more westerly. That's going to allow things to moderate. And then we've got to watch this for later Friday. This is the cold front here. And we only have about 36 frames of this, so it doesn't really look all that impressive. It doesn't look like it's going to be a soaker or anything like that. We could also look at the NAM as well. I don't think it's going to go that far out. We can move it along and see it. It does. You can see not a whole lot of moisture with this. We may not see much rain at all from it, which is fine by me. We've had like a whole month's worth of precipitation already. Let's now go and look at the GFS. I'll use the GFS for the temperatures because, again, the HRRR, we just don't have enough of it in to use, and we'll just use this. Just makes things simpler. So you can see the northwest winds tonight, becoming lighter tomorrow, west winds, and some increasing. There's not a whole lot of increase in moisture on Friday. That's the reason why we're not going to see that much rain from this front. Comes through, winds go westerly, and then northwesterly. Mainly just westerly. It looks like Sunday, but you can see that's pretty dry air there. That's going to lend itself to some pretty clear skies Sunday, and then Monday as well. Tuesday, you can see the wind start backing to the southwest again, and then we start seeing. But you don't see any. There's that storm, by the way, but you don't see any crazy. Well, actually, here's toward that end of the period, it's trying to bring what looks like some polar air and maybe even a little Arctic air. I'll have to watch that, but you don't see any crazy warmth here, which is good. No crazy warmth, and no crazy amounts of humidity. So, looking at our temperatures, our actual air temperatures tomorrow will be warmer. We'll have highs generally in the probably upper 40s to around 50. If you're in New Jersey, it'll probably be low to mid 50s. Tonight, we're probably going to drop down to around 30. Unless the wind drops, I don't think we're going to see much radiational cooling. And then for Friday, we'll have an even warmer day, perhaps closer to 60 in New Jersey and low 50s on Long Island. And then here comes this front coming through Saturday. You'll see the temperatures still be a little bit above normal Saturday. We could still hit near 50. It'll be a little bit of a lag before the colder air moves in. And then on Sunday, you're going to wake up in top of 20s, and we're probably going to see highs around the low 40s for Sunday. And then at Sunday night, we may have a lot of radiational cooling, so we might see 20s and teens, perhaps teens in the Pine Barrens, and around 30 for the urban areas. And then as we go into Monday, we start recovering again into the upper 40s, which is normal now for this time of the year. Upper 40s is normal. But you can see as we move this along here, you have one day there it's kind of mild, but you have a couple of days that are kind of mild, 50s, maybe near 60. I'm trying to see if there's any crazy warmth. There's one day that's being advertised as being crazy warm, March 25th, but then once we get past that, you see below normal temperatures come back into the picture again. So hopefully, we may actually wind up having a month that's actually below normal for a change instead of above normal. So let's now go to the skies, clouds. Obviously, tomorrow, we have a clear night tonight, but those cirrus clouds are going to roll right in on us tomorrow. Mid and high level clouds, so it won't be as clear as it was this afternoon. This is the GFS, of course, low resolution. Obviously, Friday we'll be dealing with even more clouds for your St. Patrick's Day. And then Sunday, for Saturday, we'll probably see some partly sunny conditions. And then Sunday is when we might see mostly sunny. However, we have to watch. It looks like it's showing a lot of instability, cloudiness here. So I have to watch that. GFS may very well be overdoing it. Has a lot less of it around for Monday. And then Monday and Tuesday, at least Monday looks like it's mostly sunny. I don't want to go beyond that. But you see, if we move that, and you can see that storm there, the clouds from the storm, and then as that moves away, we could have more nice weather again. So let's go to the RGM next. And we got the 18Z RGM here, which is a model I like using for clouds. So you see here what's going to happen tomorrow. You see the cirrus there, though it has a tendency to dissipate a little bit as we get toward the afternoon, but I think we're going to have some of that cirrus and some of that mid-level clouds around, mostly cirrus, so, kind of chunky-looking sky probably. And then we'll have the thicker clouds coming for Friday, thicker cirrus clouds, cold front, obviously. And then for Saturday, the RGM says by afternoon we should see mostly sunny conditions again. Now you have to watch. It looks like it's trying to form like a little wave along the front that might bring some upper-level cloudiness Saturday night to Sunday. But that's as far as I've got for the clouds. I don't really want to go any further than that. That's pretty much what it looks like from here with the clouds. I can go to the HRRR again, can go back to the 0Z, and I can take a few soundings and show you the deal with the cloud cover tomorrow. We can take a sounding at night. Take a sounding in the afternoon here. And you can see there how close they are. Almost touching, but not quite, which is why I think it might thin out a little more by the afternoon. But if you look earlier on in the day, you'll see we'll have a high deck there. So it's pretty close together. Even if you don't have it, you may have some contrails, because of all the planes that like to do that, make a mess in the sky. But other than that, it's not gonna be as clear as it was this afternoon for sure tomorrow, and it will be milder. And the winds will be lighter, and they'll be coming southwest, so it won't be as crisp of a day as it is today, but I think we'll have more crisp weather on the way. Lastly, let's do the climate outlook here, and we'll do the 6 to 10 day outlook, and it looks like it has us near normal, well below normal in the west to southwest. Precipitation slightly above normal for us, and then we go to 8 to 14, and we're near normal, but at least we're not in the red. At least that's a good sign. We definitely don't want to see that. Let me do one more update on the ice situation. See if we have another update from the NSDIC. All right, so Arctic sea ice maximum at 5th lowest on satellite record. So this was as of today. Arctic sea ice has reached its maximum extent for the year at 14.62 million square kilometers. On March 6th, the 2023 maximum is the 5th lowest in the 45-year satellite record. So, yeah, this is what I mean. We're continuing to see that sea ice deplete, and that's always very concerning. And Greenland as well is looking. We'll look at the Greenland report here as well. Widespread melting and ponded water on the peninsula ice shelves. This is Antarctica. I'm trying to see if they have anything on Greenland, but it's not a good situation. That's the bottom line. Not a good situation as we continue to deal with this. warming planet, because what happens up there has a big effect on us, even though a lot of people don't think it does. But anyway, that is going to wrap up this weather update. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.